Hey there guys, welcome to week 2 of the AVF show. This week we got some exciting announcements about printed figures, custom cloth, and the decal-ready packs, along with a backstory about the origin of AV figures and what it stands for. This morning I got a package from the Minifig Co. If you missed my last video, he's the guy who's printing my next wave of figures. This includes my Phase 2 Trooper, Fire First Trooper, Shock Trooper, and Camino Security Trooper, along with Iron Man Mark 50 armor. All the clone troopers come with blasters made by Brick Arms, helmets made by Aerialite, and then genuine Lego parts along with UV printed bodies from the Minifig Co. designed by yours truly. The Iron Man Mark 50 armor comes with the official Lego printed Iron Man helmet and head, and then it's got my custom printed bodies on it. My dog wants to leave the room, so I'm gonna go let her out. Say hi to Coco.
2 hours later.
Regarding the cloth items, I finally found a way to make them fray resistant, so that way if you kind of like pull at it, the threads don't come out. Additionally, I did some tests with the short versus the long waist cape, and then most people voted for having longer waist capes, even though it's not as screen accurate, but it does look a little more to scale with Lego. There was also a bit of controversy about the material that I should be using for the capes. A lot of people asked me to use the photo paper, which kind of has like this leather-like look to it, which is a little more screen accurate. And then just over half of the people on my poll said that they wanted to use cloth. Cloth definitely has that more Lego-like feel, and it's a little more durable than photo paper. However, it doesn't have that nice finish. So I'm going to prioritize making cloth items first, and then later down the line, when I have a bigger production capacity, I will make the photo paper style ones for the people who want more screen accuracy, risking the fragility that comes with it. Regarding the decal-ready packs, those have to be postponed because, Regarding the decal-ready packs, those are going to have to be postponed due to lack of parts. I'm going to be working on getting the cloth produced, and I have the bodies for it, but it's mainly the helmets that I'm lacking. So, a while ago I did an announcement saying that I used modified 2 12th Trooper helmets because they came in the battle packs, and I used those for my realistic style clones. I bought majority of them from Bricklink. There's this one guy who had like 100 of them. I bought all of those, and there's this other guy in Australia who had 45 of them, and then I bought all of those. And the only other listings on Bricklink are like basically people who have like 1 or 2, maybe 3, and most of them are used. So getting them in high quantity is no longer an option because I'm evil and I took it from you guys. So those 45 helmets that I stole from you guys are going to be available in the decal-ready pack, so that way you don't have to go out and get the helmet yourself. Next, I want to talk about the origin of AV figures and what it stands for. When I was 10 years old, every year prior to being 10 years old, I actually hated Star Wars. I'd never even seen it, and then I thought, wow, that's a show for nerds. Pokemon's where it's at. Pokemon's cool, by the way, but Star Wars has grown to be a bigger part of my life than Pokemon ever did. So, one of my best friends at the time, his name was Andrew Davis, he's all like, dude, just watch one episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This was back in 2008. I was in 5th grade, and he was just telling me about how cool Star Wars is. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then because he was such a good friend, I'm like, alright, I'll watch it. And the very first episode I watched was Rookies, the one on the Rishi Outpost where they introduced Fives, Echo, Heavy, Rex, and Cody. And that was a really, really good episode, and I instantly fell in love with the characters and the culture of that show. So I decided to watch more and more, and I fell in love with the clones. I'm like, wow, there's so many different clones. And all my life I'd actually been a big fan of Lego. So then realizing that, hey, there's Lego Star Wars, and then there's a whole bunch of clones, but Lego only makes like Rex, Cody, and the regular clones. I was like, okay, it's time to make some clones. So I started with Sharpie. Sharpie was a disaster. I think we all started Sharpieing our clones at some point, and I wasted about like 10 to 12 of them. And then I realized, hey, I can paint these, because I discovered channels like Michael MGF and other customizers who had been making custom Lego clones for longer than I had. And I was like, alright, well, all I had was these watercolor paints at home, and I tried it, and that was a total disaster. And I was like, I'm never going to paint again, but I didn't even know how to paint to begin with. So I then moved on to super gluing paper to figures, and that was also a disaster. Then I moved on to using labels, which was another disaster. And then when it came down to it, I was like, alright, these guys use water slide decals, you know. So I started designing decals basically by modifying templates that I'd found online. Back in the day, there was this guy who made a really cool Lego Commando template, and I loved the idea of Clone Commando, so I designed my own custom squad, Shadow Squad, and those were the very first photos I ever uploaded on Flickr back in 2011, and those were actually made by Clone Army Customs. I designed them, he transferred them to his templates, and then he made them into figures for me, and then there I had my Shadow Squad. So I started designing, I was using Microsoft Paint, then I moved on to Paint.net, and I stuck with that for a long time, until 2017 actually. And I was making more and more clones. I started with like these modified online decals, then I made my own template, and then I kept improving from there, and then here we are now. And it's been quite a journey, but I feel like I'm nowhere close to stopping, because obviously I'm finally getting my stuff mass produced now. And I'm going to be moving away from decals pretty soon to move on to printing things, but I will always be continuing to sell decals and making more designs available. So that is how AV Figures started, and that's actually not the main reason why I do it. So what AV Figures stands for, not like the acronym, AV is obviously my name, Andrew Vu, but the reason why I keep doing what I do is because Lego is a creative outlet for us all. Anyone who has ever bought a Lego set bought it because they wanted to build something, usually something that they think is either cool or something they're a fan of, which is why we have these themed lines like Star Wars, Marvel, etc., etc. Ever since I was little, my parents kind of discouraged art in a way. They were very like, go to school, get good grades, go be an engineer or something, and I was a computer engineering major for a little while, but I dropped out of college, as most of you know, so I could be working on businesses. But anyway, they always discouraged art, and they were like, oh, this Lego thing that you have is a phase, when are you going to get over it, blah, blah, blah. And they never really liked Lego because, as you all know, as Lego collectors, we like to clutter up the house with all our bricks, and Legos get everywhere, people step on them, you find random parts all over the house, in the kitchen, in the living room, whatever. And my parents really hated that. But over time, my mom grew to realize that I actually really loved Legos, and this wasn't just a phase or something, it was something that was going to be sticking around for quite a long time, if not permanently. And I figure that a lot of people actually have a similar backstory, because their parents probably didn't like having to buy them so many Legos, or like, why are you wasting so much money on a little Lego figure? Things like that. So what I realized is that AV Figures has gone from just me making something that I'm passionate about to me spreading that passion to people who share that. Something that's been happening a lot as of late is that people are buying my decals left and right. I used to sell them for $1 per actually back in the day, and then I realized that there was way too much demand and I couldn't keep up with it, so that's why I had to raise the prices, just like what I do with the figures. And they're still like half the price of the ones that you find online. Like if you go on eBay, you'll see these incomplete decals for like $5.50, and it's not even accurate to anything. So I pride myself on having accuracy and detail over anything else. And a lot of people have been buying my decals lately. They sell a lot quicker than clones do because I can print them so quickly, obviously. And then you can basically make your own figure for like $5 or $6 if you buy the parts. So with these decals, more and more people have been making their favorite clone characters. They've been asking me for custom commissions. They've been asking me for making helmet templates for different helmets. Like, for instance, one of my Cloniers, Republic Scout 722, he likes to use realistic style decals, but he likes putting them on aerialite helmets instead of official helmets, mainly because official helmets are kind of hard to come by. But, you know, there's all sorts of different creative outlets for people to create clones, and clones is just one small niche. As you're all familiar, the entire custom Lego niche is humongous, and we have all sorts of customs ranging from Marvel, military, Star Wars, gaming, everything in between, even TV shows. So the fact that AV Figures has become a company where people are enabled to make the characters that they like, and they have a creative outlet for their passions, that is what this business has grown into. I want to inspire creativity and self-expression through Lego. This is something that my parents had always kind of discouraged. They're like, blend in with the crowd, be be a normal person, etc., etc. And that's never something that I ever wanted, and that's also something that a lot of people in the Lego community don't want either. We're very unique people, and even though the community is pretty large, the world is even bigger, so we make up a very, very small percentage of the world. So this community has become really important to me in my life, and I wanted to give back to the community in a way that enables other people to continue to spread their passion and express themselves in that way. Another issue that a lot of people in this community face is bullying. Because we're so different, we oftentimes face bullies, people who go like, "Oh, why do you still play with Legos? You're like X amount of years old, you shouldn't be playing with a child's toy." Or like, "Oh wow, you paint little Lego people? Nerd." And this is something that happens to almost all of us. I don't think there's a single person who hasn't been given crap for liking Lego or custom Lego or anything like that. But as I've shown on one of the highlights of my Instagram story, you can fight negativity with positivity, and they get so dumbfounded, and then all they can say is just more insults. This guy actually was just trying to talk about my mom, I think, or something, and I was like, really? That's the best you got? Something that I really want to instill in every one of my followers and viewers is that if you're passionate about something, just go for it. Just be you. You shouldn't care about what other people say, because in the end of the day, it's what you decide to do with your life. They don't control you. You know, maybe things might seem tough now, but having a creative outlet like this and having a passion is way better than being a normal person. Trust me, I know, I've been on both sides. There was actually a point in time where I decided to leave Lego for like a good maybe 3 months. I just didn't customize, and I was like, I'm gonna be a good college student, I'm gonna go work at my part-time job, and I'm gonna be a productive member of society, and I'm gonna be social, blah blah blah. And that was like the most boring phase of my life, because I didn't have my passion there. So if you find a passion, hold on to it, nourish it, and this is what I hope AV Figures can help to instill in others. You know, just continue doing you. You might have noticed that I updated my Instagram bio. I realized that the personal values that I'd kind of grown in for this company weren't really well reflected. It seemed like, oh, I just make clones and they're cool, and I get paid to do it. Yes, I do get paid to do it. I get a pretty decent amount of income from it. It's not too much, but that's not the main goal for AV Figures. I want to be able to continue inspiring creativity and self-expression. And I really hope that with future posts and continued engaging activity with the community, I'll be able to provide that kind of inspiration for people. There are a lot of people who have messaged me and they said, hey, you've inspired me so much to, you know, make Lego, to be more self-expressive, to make my account public and not private, and then be public about my passion or whatever. And when people tell me that, it really means a lot, because that means that my message is getting through and that people are starting to change their lives and being more expressive. Because if you always live your life just kind of suppressing the things that you love, you're never going to really fully live, and you're always going to be kind of like avoiding people, and that's no way to live at all. So something that I just kind of want to leave you with, if you have a passion, whether it be Lego, Star Wars, hobby building, whatever it is, don't suppress it, don't hide it, just be passionate about it and let it grow, let it flourish, and just be you. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who's in control of your life. Cheesy inspirational quotes aside, I also wanted to apologize that there was no Figure Highlight Friday yesterday. The first week of the Figure Highlight Friday will begin next Friday. I'm going to be featuring the custom printed clones, and that's going to be like kind of the kickoff for the Figure Highlight. It's also going to be the kickoff for these clones. I'm going to be listing them for pre-order tonight. Only a limited quantity will be available for pre-order because I'm saving some stock for Brickfair Virginia. I'm going to be leaving for Brickfair on Friday afternoon, so the 27th. Prior to Brickfair, I'm going to be hanging out with my friend Sam. He used to be part of the Lego community, and that's how we met. We met at Brickfair Virginia in 2016, and now I stay with him over at his house every year for Brickfair. He used, like I said, he used to be part of the Lego community, but he now does vlogging and filmography, but he's still a really good friend. But yeah, if you guys are going to be at Brickfair Virginia, please make sure to catch me over at the pop culture section. I'm going to have a display with my minifigures and my printed figures, of course. You're not supposed to sell things if you're not a vendor, but if you want to buy something, hit me up. I'll be there. I'm going to be bringing all my decals, all my cloths, most of my figure parts, everything that I need for customizing, and definitely the printed figure stock. So if you're going to be there, make sure to catch me, and all the other customizers are going to be there as well. Keep an eye out for product releases like those printed minifigures, the cloth, the decal-ready packs, etc., etc. Most likely, a lot of them are going to be available after Brickfair because I'm going to be leaving for like almost 2 weeks and I won't be able to process any orders. But yeah, just keep an eye out for those because they're going to be coming out real soon. I'll catch you guys next week on the AVF show, week 3.